so today I'm here with a special guest.
Grace from G-Swizzel, or G-Swizzel Books if you prefer.
It's like, oh my god, like I'm actually collabing.
Oh my god, it's the most ambitious crossover in history.
It literally is. Today we are here to do the Would You Rather book tag, even though it's slightly not a tag because there is kind of like a version of this tag, but then there's also this like chain thing that people do where they get to pick their own questions. So I can't tell you who originally started this because there is no information that I didn't find in the hour that I googled it to find out who started, but I have 22 prompts, so basically I'm just going to give us two options and we have to decide which one we'd rather do, and they're all bookish based, so I'm pretty excited.
Yes, I'm very excited for the conversation we will have today.
Yes. I picked some really random ones too, so like, excited.
I'm very interested to see if we'll have some disagreements.
Oh, I know. I feel like some of these we will feel similar on, but others I'll be like, mm. Okay, so first one, which is probably something that's going to be like easy for you to answer, but would you rather be an author or a publisher?
Oh, that's actually a hard one.
Because you do work in publishing.
See, like that's difficult because like to be an author, you get to control the narrative of your own story.
Yeah.
But to be a publisher, I really like being empowered to help other authors publish their books. So I'd say at this point in my life, I would rather be a publisher. But I work in publishing, so like I get to help them. I'm in the product department, so I'm in the process of the production of a book.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Like, to me personally, I'd probably prefer to be an author just because like I always read things, and as we know from doing your collab is I would just read things and give them 5 stars, so I don't think I'm the best judge of character. And I also would like to create my own story in my own world, and I feel like if I did have to choose, it would be where I'd go. Would you rather only read trilogies or standalones?
Trilogies.
Trilogies. I knew you'd be easy on this one. For me, I probably would pick trilogies, but like a lot of contemporaries are standalones, and like what if I couldn't read contemporaries anymore? Like it would make me sad.
But like if they were
companion
trilogies, like obviously the Hot and Hammered series, like that's one of my favorite contemporary series because all of the stories intertwine. Yeah. So you can still have contemporaries. They just kind of like intertwine with each other, you know? Like I'd prefer that over just reading a standalone all the time.
But also, my issue is you can always have that second book slump where it's just like not great. Like, what if you had to experience that every time you read a trilogy? Like, I feel like standalone could be easier.
I don't care.
I feel like
I
don't know. I feel like I'd go trilogies just so that I could get 3 times as many books. But I don't mind standalone, so it's kind of like I could do both, but I can't. So I'll go trilogies.
Yeah. I don't mind if a story gets mediocre. I think to myself, if the author has gotten the whole story out of their system, I'm more than happy to read it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Would you rather have a giant personal library in your house or own a bookstore?
Definitely giant personal library, because if I owned a bookstore, then technically people are purchasing the books off of your shelves. Like, I would definitely want to be a bookstore owner in the future as like a career option, for sure. Yeah. But I would probably want a personal library because all the books are technically mine and my family's, like if I start a family, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I have that now. Like, I don't think that I would choose a bookstore over what I have now.
I feel like there could be a loophole here, right? Because if you have a bookstore and you earn money, then you could buy your own personal library. So I feel like you could, but honestly, I like the idea of having a bookstore because you get to share your opinions with other people, and you could recommend, and you could like be able to pick different like books for people. But also, like, I'd want a cafe in my bookstore. Like, I'd be like, if I'm getting the bookstore, I want a cafe to eat and read books. So I think I would pick bookstore. Like, I feel like it'd be an adventure.
Yeah, definitely. I think also bookstores have the limitation of editions as well. I mean, you already know that I'm a special edition collector. Yes. There's a limitation there if you were to own a bookstore, because each bookstore comes with their own editions of certain books as well. And for me, like, I find that customizing my own library helps me be happy and satisfied in my own space. Yeah. So yeah, I reckon that this is a very interesting conversation because like I definitely considered choosing the bookstore for that reason, but I kind of like my customizations.
Yes, yes, it's a good reason to pick it. So, would you rather read only your favorite genre or every other genre but your favorite?
Okay, so my favorite genre would be fantasy. No, I would want to only read fantasy.
Only read fantasy. See, the thing is I could say my favorite genre is contemporary, and I would also would want to read that forever, but also fantasy is a favorite. If I did say fantasy is my favorite, then I would pick every other genre to read contemporary. So I feel like, yeah, contemporary is my favorite, so I'd probably just be happy to keep reading that, because they do just keep pushing out books, and I only read 3 a month, so it's not like I'm gonna run out. So
yeah, whereas fantasy is such a broad genre.
Yeah,
like even some of the manga I read is in fantasy.
That's true. Yeah,
like that means I'll be able to read Sarah J Maas, and I'll get to read Cassandra Clare and Jennifer L. Armentrout. The only downside is that I can't read Divergent because that's not fantasy. Series like that, yeah, there's a compromise. But there's so much that I can find in fantasy that I will keep going to. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I'm sad about the whole contemporary thing as well, because I'm getting into them. Yeah. But yeah, I'd make that compromise for fantasy.
See, that's why it's ironic for me, because I used to be heavily fantasy based. The fact that I would pick contemporary is something that I'm like, me? Really? But I love it so much. I'd be like, I just need to have my fun romances that make me happy. Would you rather lend a book to someone who dog ears pages or stains the pages?
Dog ears.
Dog ears, yeah. I've had people that have already stained my books, and by people I mean my dad. But I've had that happen to me already, and I don't know, like, stains are very annoying, but I think I would end up picking dog ears just because, like, at least you can straighten them out, but, like, creases in book irritate me though, so it would be annoying.
I think about this externally. I think about this depending on how, like, the book looks as it's aged. Yeah. I've had people who have stained my pages as well, and I just could not stand that at all. Whereas if they were to dog ear my pages, as long as they don't dog ear the cover, like, we're good, you know, I'd be fine with that. I mean, I've already, like, kind of talked about on my channel how I don't lend out my books, but if this is, I mean, in this situation, yeah, I would rather them dog ear my pages.
Yeah. Would you rather have dinner with your favorite character or your favorite author, and who would it be?
I mean, it's difficult to choose my favorite character, but I do have my favorite author, and that is Veronica Roth. Yeah. So I would love to have a conversation with her. I've already met her, and that was like one of the best nights of my life. Yeah. And I got to tell her how much Divergent meant to me, but I'd probably just fangirl all the time, being like, oh my goodness, Divergent meant so much to me. Ah! We'd have a really good conversation. Yeah. Especially because they love writing about futurism. Yeah, and I loved Chosen Ones as well, so getting to probably talk to them about that book, that would be what our conversation would be about.
Yeah, that's good. Like, I mean, I do love authors, but there's just something special about actually being able to have your character come to life. And for me, I totally just picking a basic bitch answer here, but Reread, imagine if you could talk to him in person. I'm sorry, like, I just want to know about his whole deal, about how he's dealt with everything in his life. Give me some, like, ideas on how to be cool. Even though, like, there's been things in, like, Silver Shadows that I've been, like, reached questionable, I would still appreciate the hell out of that. Like, as I said, it's basic, but it's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't appreciate him in that book whatsoever, but I mean, he comes around. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Would you rather read a book that ends with a huge cliffhanger, or read one where your favorite character dies?
Cliffhanger.
It depends on the cliffhanger, but I probably would pick the same thing too, because, like, I really don't want my favorite characters to die.
Yeah, like I think about House of Sky and Breath.
Yeah.
You would have rather that ended in that painful cliffhanger. Yes. Than someone to have.
Yes, we've literally lived it. Like, we've picked cliffhangers, and it's just like, I still think about that book now. It's like too much.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, I mean, my scream was accurate.
Oh, I know. I feel like it made me read it quicker because I saw that, lost my shit, and then I was like, I better go read, find out what's going on. But yes, definitely cliffhanger.
Definitely cliffhanger.
Would you rather use a used tissue as a bookmark or a used band-aid? Both seem disgusting.
Used band-aid, maybe?
Band-aid. What if it's bloody though? That would be my concern.
The thing is, what if it's not?
What if it's not? Yeah.
What if it's just to protect, like, what if it's just to protect, like, maybe something that's really small, like, you know, really a paper cut that wasn't actually that bloody. Yeah. When you're, like, washing your hands in soap, you know, like, yeah. But then again, that's
I feel like that's just easier. Like, I feel like we should just make it that it's a really messy bandage and a really messy tissue.
I mean, definitely not the tissue, because, like, for me, I think, like, I don't know if, wait a second.
Band-aids might dry though, so if it's got blood in it.
But then you put disinfectant onto the wound before you put the band-aid on.
Yeah.
So it's probably disinfected. The tissue, however, no.
I'm glad we agree. Not that this is something to really have a disagreement about, because they're both
gross. Like, we're not going to do this in real life. But if we had to pick between one or the other.
Like, if you're like, we're going to lose my page, let me get this Band-Aid off. Like, what the hell? What time would you actually be like, oh no? Or what if it was someone else's used tissue and Band-Aid? Like, you're like, give me that. I need to save my page. Like, I feel like if that happened to me in real life, I would be like, there's not a lot of hope at the moment for me with my, like, mental capacity if I'm like, that's okay.
At that point, you just rather dog ear.
Yeah, rather dog ear. This one's amazing. So, would you rather only have 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight to read over and over again for the rest of your life?
Look, I haven't read any of them, but I'm probably going to choose Twilight because 50 Shades is Twilight fan fiction.
Yeah.
So I would rather read the source.
The source, yeah.
Than 50 Shades, like, or the fan fiction, you know?
Yeah, I would also pick Twilight because I, like, lived that shit for, like, 3 years because I literally read it 4 times back to back. So I've done it. I've dealt with it. I was that person. And I have not read 50 Shades of Grey, and I would just not tell people I read books if I had to do that. So, Twilight. These are such bad choices, though.
Like, you know, I've read erotica, but, like, 50 Shades, how can you really classify that as, like, not just...
Not trash.
Yeah, not trash, you know, like... There's actually better erotica out there. It's such a weird thing to say, but it's really true when you're talking about 50 Shades of Grey.
Really, there's good and then there's trash, and we've established that. Okay, would you rather your favorite author stopped writing altogether or kept writing but killed off your favorite character in a highly unsatisfactory manner?
Well, I mean, my favorite author's already done that.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So I've lived it. So, like, loophole. You don't actually need to answer this question.
I don't know. I feel like I probably would end up picking the first one because I'm like, if you're going to do that to the characters, why write? Because it's like, I don't want to know. Just stop.
Yeah.
Don't need more.
But when you think about it, like, there are so many other series I've found after that one that have still, like, made me happy.
Yeah.
So, like, regardless of, like, whether they write again or not, I'm still gonna find joy in other books.
Yeah. You just don't think about that one.
Yeah. I mean, I love that series. Could have gone on for longer. But yeah, it was painful and a little bit unsatisfactory.
Okay, so would you rather live with Tamlin from ACOTAR or the Darkling from Shadow and Bone?
Oh, the Darkling, for sure.
Yeah, like, how is this even a choice? Like, why would I not live with him over the tool that is Tamlin? Like...
I feel like as much as the Darkling is manipulative and abusive, if you technically take his side... He will empower you to be his equal.
Amazing.
Like, he will empower you to be his equal. Tamlin, it will literally just, like you're his trophy.
Chuck you down, yeah.
You're his trophy. So, like, you can't do anything because you're his trophy wife.
Yeah, whereas, that's so true.
Like, the Darkling, oh my goodness. But not only that, I mean, if we're talking about type here, like, tall, dark, and handsome, that is the Darkling.
Yeah.
Tamlin, however, is not my type.
No.
Like, I think Rhysand looks, like... he's more like the Darkling.
Yeah.
So a lot of people associate Rhysand as like the bad person and Tamlin as the pure person. You know?
Yeah. And I think that's probably why she wrote it that way, to be honest. But
oh yeah, I mean, I did like that. First of all, Beauty and the Beast, but then Hades and Persephone.
Yeah.
I loved it so
much. And it's ironic because I was one of the ones that was like, Hades and Persephone, no, it can't happen. And then by the end of the book, I'm like, oh, Hades and Persephone, amazing.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
It's so
good. Yeah, no, but I would definitely pick the Darkling any day.
Any day, honestly. I mean, honestly, there's so many people I would pick before Tamlin at this point. Darkling was the easy choice. Like, honestly, I could have made this harder, but I didn't know who else to put in.
Like, if you put Prince Rafferty and Tamlin, we would be here forever because I'd be trying to reason. They're just like, this, but then this,
and then you're like, can I just choose me? Like,
yeah. Just me. I want to be alone.
Would you rather live in one of the factions from Divergent or one of the districts from the Hunger Games?
One of the factions from Divergent.
Do you know
100%.
Which one?
So I thought at first that I would survive in Dauntless.
Yeah.
But I would probably see, like, I mean, not everybody makes initiation. So I reckon if I am like this all the time, I'd be in Candor and I would work. But I'd probably want to be an erudite.
Yeah, Erudite's the one that I've always been with, and it's always funny because I'm like, they're the bad ones, and I like them, but it's like, it's the same thing like with most places, like there's always that house that no one likes, or it's the evil one, and then you're like, yeah, but I kind of get it.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's much better than being in a district in the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
All of them are kind of like in a bad socioeconomic situation where the capital's at the top, whereas like Erudite and like some of the factions have more power in the society. I mean, both societies are corrupt, but
yeah, one's probably like, if we were thinking of like if we're gonna survive it or not,
lesser evil,
probably better to go there. But also we're in the place that people are gonna like stereotype against you anyway, so
I mean, it's the whole series is about stereotyping.
It's bad. You could go to the Hunger Games and be in 1 or 2, but then you're going to be growing up with this idea that you want to fight. I'd rather learn than fight. Yeah, I think so.
That's why I also didn't pick Dauntless. Yeah, you know. Yeah, erudite for the win.
For the win. Would you rather never read a new release or never be able to reread a book?
Never read a new release, because the new release doesn't stay a new release forever.
No, that's true. Well, I'd probably go the other way just because, like, I don't reread that often. If it was like, you know, I couldn't read the 3rd book for 3 years until it became non-released, I'd be like, I need to know because you'll get spoiled. So I probably would, like, sacrifice not being able to reread just because I want to be able to know things straight away and I'm impatient.
Yeah. So, well, for me, like, if I give books a second chance,
yeah,
you know, like, the only way I can do that is to reread them.
That's true.
And then also, like, I mean, I've reread From Blood and Ash 3 times.
Yeah.
I've reread some of these books a few times. Like, the ACOTAR series I reread before I read A Court of Silver Flames. So, like, just, like...
good for refreshing, but
I
also,
think that
like,
it's good, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, I can see why people don't want to waste their time doing it.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. But I would rather reread. Yeah.
Yeah. See, we're like split again.
Yes. Kat, if you're watching this is where we start drama. Yeah.
Would you rather have to read the last chapter of every new book first or never read the last chapter? That's difficult. Can I say, not that I don't do this, like, I mean, I did this back in the day, but I would rather read the first chapter because then I'd make a game out of it to try and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, there's certain books that I was like, the last chapter isn't the chapter that's shocking, that I wouldn't help, but there's certain books that, like, you know, it's just the epilogue, and then it could be about something that you don't even know about. So I feel like there's going to be times when it's not gonna ruin everything. Like, it might give you something to think about, but I'd rather do that than not ever know if there's something big that I just missed out on, and have to wait until I read the next book for them to be like, oh shit, this is what's going down. And I'm like, I didn't know. Like, it'd be so hard.
I agree here. So, I mean, what makes it annoying for me is that someone leaked the final page of House of Sky and Breath, and that is how I found out the ending. 3 days before House of Sky and Breath was published.
That's so bad.
It was annoying. I think to myself, I don't want to read the last chapter before I've read an entire 800-page book, because I was spoiled that way. However, I also don't want it not completed. Yeah. You know, because even if you read like a series, you're still missing out on like if it's a trilogy, you're missing out on 3 important chapters.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, no, I'd have to make the compromise, read the last chapter first, and then go back.
What if you could do something as like you read it and then just like put that book down for a year and then maybe you'll forget? Like, you could try different things.
I would like that loophole, yeah. That means I'd just be reading heaps of last chapters just so that I can
like bam, 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 all done. This is similar to what was just said, but it's still kind of different. But would you rather have someone ruin the ending of a book for you or never finish the book you were reading? And I don't know how much that means, if it's last chapter, last half, last page.
Does that mean every book that I read?
Every book.
Yeah, no, I'd rather someone ruin it for me.
Yeah. And it's funny because it has happened. People have done it to us because the internet sometimes just has no chill. So it's something that we probably all need to work on together to not spoil each other and like actually enjoy things again. But yeah, I think I do the same. Like, I just let someone spoil it, and you never know what it is, because like, what if it's something that they spoil the color of something that someone's wearing? You know, it could be something so minuscule that they spoil a sentence.
But see, like, sometimes you can forget what people spoil for you.
Yeah. Like, but it feels like it's going to be one of those things that, like, the minute you decide to pick up that book, you get the spoiler. Like, it's not something that you're probably going to be able to forget, which is annoying, but I would pick to be spoiled.
Yeah.
So would you rather read in an isolated cabin that was infested with spiders or in a noisy coffee shop with bad music? I hate spiders, so it's just no.
I mean,
I would go coffee shop. I read in my lunchroom at work and they play bad music, so it's not a noisy coffee shop, but it's like I semi-live this already.
I mean, like, what if you tried listening to an audiobook with like really bad music in the background?
You're like trying to be invested in
free
like
jazz.
Just add some mood to the book and you're like, get it, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, no, I go with a coffee shop because, like, I think to myself, why would I go all the way out to a cabin only to just have like spiders infest that to like you know, to read?
Yeah, like
there's just no point in it, you know?
Like the logistics of this question, be like, do I have to drive to this cabin to read? Like, do I just appear there? Do I live there now? Like, it's like, once you put it into practice, you're like, how does this work? Does it always have to be the same coffee shop too, though? Like, it could be like, either or, you might be stuck in the same place. It's like forever. You're in your cabin with your spiders or in the coffee shop. At least you get food at the coffee shop, though.
Yeah,
so.
At least you get food. That's a bonus.
At least of the bad music.
Yes, and all the coffee you want.
Would you rather read 5 pages a day or 5 books per week? And you had to maintain that all the time.
Oh yeah, 5 books a week.
Yeah, because you do that anyway.
I mean, like, you know, think of it as a loophole. Like, you could read like 5 manga volumes and it'd just be like,
done.
Boom. Like, you could do that in a day. I don't think I get through 5 books a week, but there are some weeks that I do.
Yeah.
But like, I would push to do that, especially because like I love the adrenaline of finishing a book.
Yeah.
That much. So yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't have time to do 5 books per week, but like if it was a way that it's like it just managed to happen, even though I had all this other stuff to do, which is like would actually be really good, but like if I had to pick for like how busy my life is, I probably would only be able to do the 5 pages per day, which would take me forever to finish a book, but I would like to strive for 5 a week.
Yeah.
Not that I ever will. If I could get 1 book read a week, I'd be happy with that. That's fine. But like if it was all practicality that I didn't have to worry about how busy I am, I would pick 5. But if it was life value, because then, as I said, it's kind of a bonus to be able to do that, so it's kind of a reward. Realistically, I would have to say 5 pages a day because that's all I can do. Okay, would you rather crack the spine of a paperback book or ruin a hardback's dust jacket?
Crack the spine of a paperback book.
I mean, most books do that when you read them, so you can do it unintentionally.
But like, as long as these are safe, my paperbacks can... They can cop it.
Yeah. Well, it's like you just like crack all the spines of like your paperbacks, but you have the hardcovers, and then you're like, hey.
Yeah, I don't mind like my hardback spine being cracked, but like the dust jacket, no. It's like in a lot of time, it's like you get the dust jacket just because it's pretty. So why would you like ruin it? So I would probably say the same, like, because a lot of my books, it's like, I think a cracked spine shows that you love that book. And I feel like having that visualization is really good, because with hardcovers, like, a lot of the time, the only way that it shows that you've read it is they're, like, wonky when you, like, try to put them back on the shelf. And I'm like, oh, this is the worst. But a cracked spine is definitely the lesser of two evils, because it's not really evil. It's just, like, books do that. You have to open them to read them. Hey, would you rather be an Ardalan from Thrown Glass or Corinthian from Court of Thorns and Roses? Prithian?
Prithian, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I would want the Night Court to claim me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I say, it's probably really basic, but I feel like there's less walking in Prithian. Like, it's all together. Like, I feel like Ardalan, it's like so far and there's like nothing in the middle. Like, there's things happening, but I feel like I just have to, like, if I wanted to go anywhere, it'd just be a lot of effort. Unless someone can take me in a quicker way, like, at least, like, I could just, like, be strolling through all the court.
There's a lot of winnowing.
Yeah.
So, like, you can find a friend who can winnow you, and then you're sorted.
Then you're done. It's like, take me on vacation, please.
And also, like, I really want to taste their Fey wine.
Oh, yes. I want to go to the parties, too. Like, they seem like they have, like, rages, and I'd be, like, just up in there, like... It's like, I'm ready. I'll be like Pharaoh, they'll be like, you're not meant to go outside, and it just, like, sprints down there. I'm like, I'm going. I'm a human, you can't tell me what to do.
Like, even just to live in the House of Wind, man, like...
I know, it'd be so good.
It'd be so great.
Or even just to, like...
library.
Yes, oh my god, yes. And just to even just walk around and see the people doing all their things, that'd be, like, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather write the book of your life, or have someone else write it?
I'd rather write the book of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else can tell my story or my experiences the way that I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do.
Easy. I feel like even though it would be good for me like to write my own story, I feel like I could be biased. I feel like having a third party write my story though would be really interesting, and it doesn't even have to be like someone that knows me. Like I feel like it could be a situation of like, been many years since I've been alive and someone, you know, sees my story and they want to find out. Like I feel like having a book written in that format would be really cool. It'd be like a new way of seeing yourself, because it's like you could write your own thing, but as I said, you could lie, you could write certain things, you could make the story in a certain way, which not everyone's gonna do, but I'd just like to know, like, that opinion of me, like, would be really cool to see. Okay, so we've only got 2 left. So, would you rather always be able to guess the twist or never be able to guess?
I would rather never be able to guess the twist.
Never, yeah?
Yeah, I'd say.
Like, for me, this is hard because I find, like, such victory when I'm just like, God, I knew it! Like, it's something about that is so great to experience, but then it probably will get old pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I would probably go never be able to guess, because then it just keeps you on your toes for the rest of your reading experience. You'll be like, oh my god, yes. All the things I need to know. And then you'll just be more invested in reading, I think. Like, if it starts to become something that you just see coming, you may not end up liking it as much anymore or a couple of years down the track. So hopefully it would just keep the love going.
I don't know, in some cases I feel like things are too predictable, and it's not usually a reflection on the author. Sometimes it is. I don't want to spoil anything, but if they include a certain trope that eventually leads to like a big plot twist, you've already seen it done a few times before.
Yeah.
So I hate feeling that way, because I would like to guess something different.
Yeah.
So I would like to know that I'm always not guessing what it is based on those bad experiences of guessing the twist too easily. Yeah, I don't know. I want to be on my toes all the time.
Well, I was just going to say, a good example of that is whenever they use the lost princess trope. Because when they keep mentioning this princess, you know it's going to be either the main character or someone close to her, or so then you like, you know to look for it. And that's what always can be like really annoying, because it's like there's certain books, I'm not going to mention any, because like when you mention a book has a lost princess trope, people know that it's going to be so, but there's many books that I've read that do it, and I'm just like, oh, like, you know, it's so obvious from the first page where the story's going to go, that there has been times when books have flipped the trope, and it's like, oh, what, like, then that really shocks you, and it's really good, and you find out the main character is just some basic woman that does nothing, and you're like, yeah, I like this works well. Okay, and lastly, would you rather be in a love triangle or be the chosen one?
Oh, the chosen one. 100%. Yeah. Like, if I had to, oh my goodness. Like,
but 2 people might love you.
But I don't want to play 2 people. No. I don't want that on my conscience.
No. But also, chosen one is such an overused, like, I feel like I'd be the worst chosen one, because I'm like, I don't want to do nothing. I don't care.
And then there's me who has like a massive hero complex. Like, just be like, yeah, like, let's go, you know, I'm ready to fight.
I feel like, even though I haven't read the book yet, but like the rest of us just live here, I think has like the chosen one trope, but then they don't really care.
Well, no, so there's a chosen one trope for like the actual heroes. Yeah. Whereas the rest of us, they're literally just human beings trying to live an everyday life. So like, yeah, we don't really care about the crime fighting that's happening right now. Yeah. We could just chill.
Chill, yeah. That would be me. I'd be like, as I said, the worst chosen one, because I wouldn't want to do anything, but I think it would be better than, having to deal with love triangles.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think to myself, I would want to have more purpose in fighting for people than have the purpose of, like, 2 men, or, who knows, like,
fighting over you,
woman, or, like, whatever, like, any people of any gender fighting over me. Just 2 parties involved fighting over me. Yeah. And my only purpose is to break one person's heart, and stay with the other person, or I don't know, become polyamorous. But like, I don't know, like, I would rather be the chosen one. Yeah. Yeah, because there are too many feelings involved there. Whereas like, some people need help.
And again, it's like, if that's the book that's been written about you, that's all the focus is going to be. At least if you're the chosen one, it's more about what you've done, not who you've done.
Like, people are dying.
No, and that's what we need to care about.
Yeah, people. There are people who need the chosen one, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Hey, that is all the questions for the Would You Rather tag. I actually really appreciate that a few of them we were pretty, like, not pretty divided on, but we had different reasons for being like, I'd rather do this though. Yeah,
we have, like, fairly different opinions on some things, but we're able to reason with each other.
Yeah. It's funny too, though, because I put a couple in that I knew we were just going to instantly be like, nah, this one. And that was great. But anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed having special guests here. So if you want to talk about all your, like, social medias where you can be found.
Yes. Again. So, yeah. Again.
Yay!
I haven't even started talking, Ellie.
I'll just be hyping.
Yes. Hype person right next to me. So I'm okay, you can find me at the YouTube channel G-Swizzel. That is where I also make bookish content. And
we also filmed a collab, so you can check that out.
You can check that collab out and you can get the reference we just made. Also, I have social medias. I'm at G-SwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram. I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/G-Swizzle. And I'm also at TikTok, and that's G-Swizzle at TikTok. Please encourage me to post more TikToks.
Yay! And I'm just here, you know where to find me, it's my channel clearly, but I do have links down below, so there'll be links for you, there'll be links for me, so you can find everything you need to do. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and we'll see you later. Bye! Bye.